All right, so you're prepping for that vacuum forming machine operator interview. Awesome. Well, we're diving deep today to make sure you're totally ready to impress. We're using the career guide and interview guide from RoleCatcher.
Yeah, they've got some great stuff in there.
They really do. So,
This role, it's all about those machines,
yeah.
the ones that heat and mold the plastic sheets with vacuum suction. You're basically shaping everything. I mean, think Legos, car parts, you name it.
It's pretty cool.
And get this, the global plastics market. It's supposed to hit like $935 billion by 2028.
Wow.
So the need for skilled operators, it's just going up.
It's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
So before we get into those interview questions, how about we touch on RoleCatcher's AI for a sec?
Okay.
How can that help tailor your responses?
Well, it's pretty cool, actually. So you
Right.
can put in like the specific job description and the AI, it'll like analyze it, pick out those keywords, the skills that the employer wants. Then it can actually help you make your answers better. It'll even give you feedback on, how well you're hitting those points.
That's amazing. It's like having an interview coach,
Yeah.
like right there in your pocket.
Right.
All right, let's get into those interview questions. So the first one, it's a classic. It's in the guide. What motivated you to pursue a career as a vacuum forming machine operator? Seems simple, but you can really make it stand out.
Oh, for sure. How so?
Well, the interviewer, they want to see that you're really interested, not just like a robot. you know?
Right.
So think about what really drew you to this.
Oh, okay. So like what?
Or maybe you love working with your hands, with machines. Or maybe it's that feeling when you see, a design come to life in plastic.
Oh, I see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you want to connect that back to your skills, what you've done before.
Okay.
So were you like one of those kids always building models?
Always tinkering. Have you always loved working with tools and all that?
I get it.
And be ready for them to ask, like, what excites you most about the future of this field?
Okay. Interesting.
That's where you can bring up things like, how much the demand's growing, new tech, like 3D printing, sustainable plastics, all that.
They want someone who's passionate about this whole industry, not just filling a position.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Next question. What specific skills and experience do you have that make you qualified for this position? This is where you really get to like show off what you know.
Yeah, you got to shine here. And remember, tangible skills, the stuff that connects directly to the job.
Right.
Like, what's your experience with similar machines? Any other manufacturing experience,
Yeah.
safety stuff, quality control, all that.
Troubleshooting too. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Be ready to give examples of how you handled, machine problems or quality issues. They might even be like, tell me about a time you had to troubleshoot a machine. What did you actually do?
It's all about problem solving, thinking on your feet.
Exactly. And that's where, RoleCatcher's AI, it can help you frame those answers.
Right.
So you hit all the right keywords the employer wants to hear.
Awesome. Right. Number 3, how do you ensure that the vacuum forming machine operates efficiently and produces high quality products? This one's all about that technical knowledge and your eye for detail.
Yeah, this is where you show them, you get the whole process, like from setting up the machine to watching how it runs to like making sure the quality is top notch. You could talk about different types of plastic sheets, temperature control, how important that is, how you make sure not to waste stuff.
Gotcha.
And they might ask, what are some common problems that can come up during the process?
Okay.
And how would you handle those?
I see. So they want to see you're not just going by the book, but you're thinking, how can we make this better?
Exactly.
Okay. Next question gets right to the point about problem solving. How do you troubleshoot issues that arise during the vacuum forming process?
Okay, so this is where you get to show off how you think logically.
Okay. Do you start by figuring out what the symptoms are? Then what could be causing it? Do you look at the manuals, use diagnostic tools, all that? Okay. And again, have that example ready. That time you had a tough problem, what did you do?
Show them you can think it through and take action.
Yeah.
So safety is a big deal in any manufacturing job. Question 5 is, how do you ensure that the vacuum forming machine operates safely?
Right. It's not just about being skilled. It's about being responsible.
Yeah.
Knowing what could be dangerous. So talk about safety rules, why it's important to use the right equipment, like the PPE,
Okay.
and what's your experience with keeping those machines in good shape.
Right.
You could even mention any specific safety training you've had, like lockout, tagout procedures.
Oh, yeah.
That's making sure the machine is totally off and can't start up again by accident while someone's working on it.
Super important. And if they ask about a time you had to deal with a safety issue, be ready to share that story. Shows you take it seriously, You're proactive. All right, let's look at a question about keeping those quality standards high. So, how do you handle a situation where the vacuum forming machine is not producing products that meet the required specifications?
Got it.
This is where you show how committed you are to quality control. So how do you figure out what's causing the problem?
Yeah.
Do you check the materials you're using first? Or do you look at the mold, see if it's messed up?
Okay.
Then walk them through what you did to fix it. Did you change some settings on the machine? Or did you swap out a part that was broken? Or maybe you had to talk to your supervisor.
Right.
A follow-up they might throw at you is, describe a time you had to make a tough choice to keep the quality high, even if it meant things got delayed. This shows them that quality is your top priority.
I like that. Okay, shifting gears a bit, let's talk productivity. The question is, how do you ensure that you meet production goals and deadlines?
All right, so this is about managing your time, being efficient, knowing what to focus on first. Do you have a way you organize your work? Do you break down those big projects into smaller steps?
Got it.
And have a real example ready. You could say something like, in my last job, we had this huge order and the deadline was tight. So I made a schedule, broke it down, gave tasks to the team, and then I watched everything super closely, made sure we were on track.
Okay, yeah.
They want to see you're organized, you take initiative, and you can work well, even when things are crazy.
Makes sense. Wow, we covered a lot already.
We're just getting started. Welcome back. So we're going even deeper into these interview questions for vacuum forming machine operators. We're going to make sure you're super ready.
For sure. We've got a few more from RoleCatcher's Guide to go through.
Yep, let's do it. Question number 8. What experience do you have with quality control processes and procedures? So this one's all about showing that you get quality and how important it is to keep those standards high.
Right. So it's not just running the machine. It's about that final product, making sure it's perfect, right?
Exactly. Think about the jobs you've had. Did you use any special tools or techniques for quality control? Like, did you do first article inspections or use those statistical process control charts? Any other quality control methods you can think of.
Okay, yeah.
The key here is to be specific. Don't just say, oh, I'm good with details. Give them a real example. Like, at my last job, I had to check how thick each part was using a digital micrometer, and then I'd write those measurements down in a log. You know, stuff like that. Really paints a picture.
Makes sense.
Okay, last question from the guide. What experience do you have with tooling and molds used in the vacuum forming process?
So this is getting into the details of how it all works, right?
Exactly. They want to know how much hands-on experience you have with these really important parts of the process. So have you ever had to, like, change a mold to make the product better or fix a problem that was happening?
Okay.
Maybe you did some maintenance on the tooling to make it last longer.
Right, right.
Things like that show them you understand the process, like, really well. And actually, this is a good time to bring up RoleCatcher's AI again. How can it help with these technical questions?
Yeah.
So the AI, it can actually pick out those industry words that might be in the job description. And if you use those words in your answers, you're basically showing the interviewer, hey, I speak your language. I get what you're talking about.
That's pretty clever, like a cheat sheet for keywords.
Right. Okay, so we've done all 9 questions from RoleCatcher's Guide, but there's something else super important that we need to talk about.
Okay, what's that?
It's not just about answering their questions, it's about asking your own.
Oh, right, yeah.
It shows you're engaged, you're curious, you really care about the company and the job.
So what are some good questions our listeners could ask, like to make a good impression?
I always tell people, think beyond the basics. Don't just ask about salary or benefits. Ask about their plans for the future. How is the company growing? Are there opportunities to learn and grow within the company? What are they doing about sustainability in the plastics industry? What kind of training do they offer? Stuff like that. It shows you're thinking long term. You want to build a career there.
And it shows you've done your homework about the company.
For sure. And you know what? This is another place where RoleCatcher can really help.
How so?
Their platform has so much info on different companies, what they value, their work culture, even recent news and projects. It's all good stuff to help you come up with smart questions.
Wow. Sounds like RoleCatcher's like essential for anyone looking for a job.
Pretty much. Okay, so we covered a ton in this deep dive.
We did. Okay, so we're back for the final part of this vacuum forming machine operator interview deep dive. You've got the knowledge, you've practiced the questions, you've even got some of your own questions ready to ask them. So what's that extra something that can really make you stand out?
You know, it's funny. It's not always about what you say.
Oh.
It's how you say it. confidence, a positive attitude, those things make a big impression.
Right. It's like they say, first impressions matter. Even if you're nervous, you got to try and show some enthusiasm. A smile, a good handshake, that goes a long way.
Absolutely. And remember, they're not just looking for skills. They want someone who fits in with the team. So show them you're a team player, you're easy to work with, you're ready to learn.
Be yourself, let your personality show.
Yeah.
Maybe share a quick story, something relevant, but most importantly, listen and really engage in the conversation.
I love that. It's back and forth, not just you talking the whole time.
Exactly.
And speaking of back and forth, remember those questions you prepared? Don't be shy. Ask them.
Right.
It shows you're really interested. You've been thinking about the job and the company.
And it's a chance for you to see if they're a good fit for you, too.
Exactly.
Like, how do they answer your questions? Do they seem interested? Are they giving you good answers?
That tells you a lot about the company culture, how they treat their employees. And hey, while we're talking about value, let's bring up RoleCatcher one last time. This platform, it can really help you throughout your career, not just when you're looking for a job.
Oh, right. Their career guides, they're not just for interview prep.
Right.
They have info on career paths, how much you can expect to make, what's happening in the industry. It's like a roadmap for your career.
And don't forget their AI tools. They can help you keep learning new skills, figure out where you might need to improve, or maybe even explore other areas that you might like.
So it's all about staying ahead of the game, always learning and growing.
Exactly. So, to wrap this up, I want you to remember one thing. Preparation is key. The more you know about the job, the company, the interview, the more confident you'll feel. And that confidence, it'll show.
And don't forget to celebrate your wins along the way. Even getting an interview is a big deal. Be proud of that. And even if this one doesn't work out, every interview is a chance to learn.
Well said. We really hope this deep dive was helpful. Good luck with your interview. We know you're going to do great.
That's it for our vacuum forming machine operator interview prep. We'll see you on the next deep dive. We'll be exploring another exciting career path.